It's the Tonya Burns show. Tune in right now. Like and share, our city needs that vibe. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up, we're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand down in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.
First of all, I thank for everyone who was here because this means a lot and it's hot. And this is not for me. This is for us. This is a we. I never say that I'm running. I say we're running. We're running because we want to make Flint better. It's not about me. It's about us. We have to start talking to our children. My first call came in at 12:10 a.m. 4 people were shot last night. The bullet casings ran 4 blocks down. We need a comprehensive public safety plan, because we keep burying our children, and it's not okay. It's not okay. Hey, y'all, it has been a long time. Look, happy, whatever day it is, because every day it's been busy. I hope y'all been doing fine. Listen, if you're on, do me a favor, click like, share, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. So let's shoot this out. I need to do a little bit of sharing myself, actually, to get some things out. So let me finish doing my little share. But tell me how y'all been. Is it hot out there? Is it hot? Listen, I have got to get, because this is, as much as y'all, people say I love to talk. As much as I miss being on here, I need to do a couple of my, like, syncing things together. So look, I'm running for mayor and I need y'all help. Today's show, we're going to cover a lot. And so we're going to start coming back on, because I like to get out good information. Because one thing we know, some things just don't come out the way that they should. And we need to make sure that we have good information so that we can make good choices. And that's where I am at. Good choices, good information. Okay, I didn't share enough on this. So look, wherever you from, good evening, Councilwoman Burns, will please talk about breaking news about the councilman in the first ward. I'm from New York City and been following Flint for the past 5 years. But thank you. We appreciate your support. And we are going to talk about that, but there's not a lot that has been released. There's not. And so we have a list of things to go down. Literally, y'all, because I'm gonna come with my list. Y'all know that. And so we're going to go over some things, and it's not going to be the priority. So look, different y'all, hit that like button. And then drop in where you're from. And look, if you're in Flint, look, I need your vote. So we're going to start off on a couple things. And one of the things is that, look, I got to get my list. First of all, we're going to talk about it's hot. It's very hot. And I think they said it's 96 degrees, but feels like 99. And if you don't have air, it's a problem. So one of the things that we do have is they have cooling centers. So if you do not have air conditioning or need a place to cool down, we encourage you to visit one of these locations during operating hours. And so the city has placed this, and it's the cooling centers, which is McKinley Center, um, the May Center, and you can actually go during the day to Hasselbrink Center. But here's the thing. If you look down at the bottom, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., we need these centers to be extended hours because it is still hot out there. It's hot. The hottest part of the day is 4 o'clock, and we don't cool down until till the sun goes down. So these hours need to be extended. Having cooling centers are great, but we need cooling centers that are going to stay open a lot longer. Um, yeah, I gotta give me just a moment. I gotta mute this. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. So cooling centers do need to stay open a little bit longer. So please stay out of the heat, stay cool, stay hydrated, stay out the sun. It is hot out there, and if you are inside, take your animals in. Animals cannot withstand this heat. Water evaporates a lot quicker. So make sure if you're hot, your pets are hot too. So take your pets in. Take your pets in. Tuning in from Virginia. Any word on the data center they're trying to bring? We're gonna do another little show on the data center, and we may do a like an hour on that tomorrow. And so there's a lot that's going on. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying I've got to start coming back on. And so I want everyone to stay cool. Bring your pets in. So listen, we got to go on to one of the things. It's called Wallet Hub, and Wallet Hub is this website. And good look, and if you're just dropping in because I don't have all my devices, thank y'all for joining us. Wallet Hub did a article in a Granny G. Look, I can't see everybody's name, so look, I'm gonna send everybody some love. Everybody. So look, we got Flint in the house. Um, Wallet Hub they did an article, and the article on Wallet Hub gave 150, and I want to thank Michelle Merritt. She is very involved, and it compared 150 cities, worst and best run cities. And so best and worst, and this is for 2000, so far 2026. And so it tells us some of the things that poverty rates, how the cities are ran, your public works, your roads. We know that our roads, one thing, great getting the roads done, but we're getting the roads done all over, and we don't have any detours. People need detours, how to get around. You do not see detour signs, and you know what? We do not have a DPW. Last one that we had, he was a manager. He wasn't a DPW director. That was Kenneth Miller. He quit because he couldn't work with this administration. And we're going to do the long list of who has quit, um, and it's been who has quit and what position stayed vacant. So we know that. Oh, can you make that bigger? Listen. So best run cities in America. Number one was it Provo, Utah? Is that the one? That's the best one. But let's go down. You got to scroll all the way down into the hundreds. I think because Flint was like 133. I mean, I mean, did New Orleans beat us? Shreveport, Louisiana beat us. Seattle. Well, Seattle's a nice city. So Flint is number 133. Nope, 145. 145. That is bad, of the worst ran cities. So let's go through some of the other statistics. So some of the other statistics that they have, and Flint has got a lot of improvement. And this year, we hear people talking about things that really aren't necessarily. Oh, he is scrolling really quick. Look, y'all, look, Jonathan gets paid through donations. So this is a detailed breakdown. So look, don't forget to, donate to J. Eaton Media, Cash App, J. Eaton Media at Cash App. So this gives the breakdown, but I did I did do detailed breakdown by city. Let's go down further. Actually, I've got two, you can put up the two pictures because one of them is Flint's poverty. And so we have got Flint's poverty. And when it breaks down to financial stability, education and rank, health risk, safety risk, economy risk, infrastructure, and pollution rate. And so one of the things when we talked about pollution rate, I think Flint is on there. Can we scroll? I don't even know where Flint is at because it's not in chronological order, not by numerical. Because let's see where pollution rate. So Flint is 44, which is bad. And let me tell you, one of the things people are concerned about is with the data centers coming. Do we want the data centers? Is this another type of pollution? And that was a big issue when we actually dealt with this, and we had the town hall, informational town hall with Dr. Brandy Brown, and we talked about this. Are they using renewable energy? Are they using solar? Are they using diesel turbines to run these massive computers? What are they doing? With the data centers. Does it cat? People are saying that some of the data centers, the noise pollution, that it affects your body, your health wise, that it causes cancer. It offsets your body, your rhythm. It affects nature. So we did vote for a moratorium so that we could get some information. But let me tell you why this election is so important. This election is so important because in November, if their people get in, the data centers are coming. They're going to come. And what can they do? They have the right to rescind. They're going to rescind the moratorium because they're putting things in place. Who haven't you heard from with their opinions on the data centers? Be leery of those people if they have not given their position on the data centers. That's something that you have a right to know. And so when we look at the data centers across the United States, and one of the numbers that was really, I'm going to say, scary to me, China has got 427 data centers. United States has got 5,000, I believe, 437. We have over 5,000. If China is taking better care of their population and their people, what is the United States doing? And I had a meeting today with two different people where I shared this information. And Jonathan, I probably should have showed that because people don't. Jan Marie sent me some articles, and then I read in some different sites, and we really have to start being good sharers of information. China has 400 or something. The United States. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I put that in there. Oh, look at that. Can we make that one bigger? So, so United States, but I tell y'all, United States has 5,427. Germany has 529. United Kingdom has 523. China has, this is the update of 449. And so we look at the vast difference that from United States having 5,427 to the second largest country, Germany, having 529. And so we have got to stop and look at these things. We have got to. And it's every other country. I mean, we're talking over $5,000 data center difference. That's a lot. So when people say, okay, I want them, okay, but is there a safe way to build them if we're building them? And no one's telling us this. We know that in Mundy Township, they took down an entire subdivision, destroyed it, rebuilt them a new one, paid their homes off because they wanted to use that land. Will they do the same for the people who literally are right across the street? I did the video and showed everyone it's literally right across the street. where they want to put it out on the Buick site. Who has received PAC money? Mayor Neely has received PAC money. And I don't know if I sent that to you, Jonathan, but he's first received, I believe Dennis Pfeiffer had it on his page. Um, and he first received PAC money, I believe, in 2023. But what about 2024, 2025, 2026? That he received this PAC money. And so this is a big difference. Number one state with data centers is Virginia. And so even they have, in many of their counties, they put moratoriums. So it is time to pause. Let's see how it affects human life, how it affects our nature, the nature, our wildlife. And we need to pause. We need to see. And if it's not good for us with good information, then, we don't want them. That site can build anything. Anything can be built on that site, not just data centers. If it was to be a data center, because there is a pipe, and for the water, we have the KWA pipeline is right there at Stewart Street. KWA's pipeline is right there at Stewart Street. Guess who sits on the KWA pipeline? And I can't see any of the comments. If anybody knows for the U.S. to have 5K, that's why absolutely that is wild for them to have 5K. And so when we talk about who's on that KWA, it's the people who aren't really against it. Mayor Neely sits on the KWA. Judy Priestley sits on the KWA, and Liddell Lewis sits on the KWA. And so water, we could sell millions of gallons of water, but then there are the other aspects of it that we need to look at, that we really have to look at. Some of the moratoriums are for a year, some are for like 6 months, and these are with some places who have already got over 200 data centers. And so people are pausing and saying, hey, we have a problem. We know in rural areas it's drying up the water. These massive computers take up a lot of the water, the groundwater, the aquifers. And so that is something that's serious. So I just want to share this with you. There will be another town hall coming soon with Dr. Brandy Brown and Dr. Karen Weaver. We will be doing another town hall, and then I will announce it because we are, getting into the facts of it, peeling it back so that we are being good sharers of information. And if you have not seen, watch the last one. We do have it on our YouTube where you can go and watch it, get the good information. When we look at the United States has 5,427, the second largest country with data centers is 529 in Germany. That's a big difference. Russia only has 251. We got more than them. So these are things that we have to make, in conversation, we have to talk about them. So listen, do me a favor. This is, if we can donate to J. Eaton Media, to Cash App. Jonathan does this, and we're going to be on a lot more because there's a lot of stuff that we need to get out. One of the things with this week, I'm going to probably try to press this out because number one, it's too hot. So if you have a cooling center that's open after 5, y'all need to go, or go someplace, stay cool, bring your pets in. So if you can donate to, please kindly donate to J. Eaton Media. That would be great. That would be wonderful. So Wallet Hub, there's a couple more things with Wallet Hub. Wallet Hub listed in, I believe, the poverty. Flint was listed in poverty like 140, was it 146? I think 146. And when we look at that, and we we talk about promises kept. Are you really keeping promises if we're ranking in poverty like that? I don't think that's a promise kept. Not at all. And so when we look at I'm going to put, so this one, population in poverty. Thank you. And it will probably be able to scroll down. So the lowest poverty, according to this, up to Wallet Hub and their information, the lowest is Fremont, California. 2, Warwick, Rhode Island. 3, Huntington Beach, California. 3, Nassau, New Hampshire. 5, San Jose, California. The highest in poverty, Flint is one living in poverty. Percentage of people living in poverty, Flint is number 148. you know, this is really, this is not good data. And so when we talk about keeping promises, the promises always have to be to the people first. They have to be to the people first. We had a deal with Mahindra. That deal was set to go 2019. It was blown underneath this administration. It was blown. It was gone. We also had another one with it was a Japanese glass making company. These were to be built on the Buick site. That one was blown. Um, we know that there have been other companies, you know, when you come to Flint, somehow in the negotiation breakdown, it just does not. We need to say Flint is open for business. And right now it's difficult because we have an administration. We look at who all quit and left at the city of Flint. Our small business, our economic development department, he dismantled it. We look at our planning. We lost our planning director. We lost our planning deputy director. We lost, I think Tyler was a small business person. He quit. And all of these, I mean, people just left. It's difficult when Flint has its challenges, but what we have to do is be a welcoming city. And when we run away business, and for some reason they're very good at it. Like I said, Mahindra was coming. Mahindra was supposed to build motorcycles, and some other. And if you look up Mahindra, they'll tell you the type of things that they built. And they were excited. They ended up going someplace else. And so we keep losing business who want to come here. And now they're saying, well, let's start, we seeing PAC money come out. PAC money is coming out. And do we want to have or make trillionaires more richer and billionaires and millionaires when we have a poverty rate that Flint rates at, what is it, 140? We have the highest living in poverty according to this Wallet Hub survey. That's not good. I mean, it's actually really bad. And so when we look at these things, we need change, and it's time for change. And one thing people have got to start doing is demanding better. So let's go into Flint's unemployment rate, employee contract. So the lowest unemployment is Rapid City, South Dakota. Second is Burlington, Vermont. Number with the highest, I didn't think Gary, Indiana would ever beat us out, y'all. But hold on. Flint is, listen, Flint is 148. We have the highest unemployment rate um, that's on their list. And I don't know, John, I think I sent you these too. Um, I believe I sent these to you. And so when we look at this, so what's above the unemployment rate for Flint? Well, above Flint is Detroit at 147, Hartford, Connecticut at 146. Gary, Indiana's unemployment rate is better than Flint's. Never thought. We know Indiana had the steel mill industry, and they which was almost similar to the GM pullout. But I never thought that Gary, Indiana would their unemployment rate would be better than Flint's. But obviously it is. Obviously it is. So look, click like, share, and subscribe, and put where you in it in the comments. And I'm gonna click on this one so I can start reading some of the comments. I'm gonna start reading some. So we're gonna move on from Wallet Hub. And I'm gonna try to get through these before we, get into what everybody wants to talk about. So the next one, we're gonna talk about the Jackson, Mississippi mayor. The Jackson, Mississippi mayor, which has been the Jackson, Mississippi mayor, Mayor, I'm gonna say his name wrong. Thank you. Former Jackson Mayor Lubamba and ex-city council member Banks plead guilty in public corruption. Former Jackson Mayor Lubamba and ex-city council member Banks plead guilty in corruption. So they did a sting going back to to 2022. And then we've shared past just to kind of, not just we've had problems here, in the Jackson. There was problem with ARPA funds in Cincinnati and Cleveland and other places. But can we make that? I'm gonna read this article because here it is. They had devised the scheme, and this scheme that they actually devised, they got caught up in it, and it didn't work out very well for them actually. And so let me pull that one up. Sorry, So, um, so one thing people are always conscious of is kickbacks, pay to play. Can you donate to my campaign fund before you decide to start? Before you do business, but my campaign fund. And so you'll see a lot of that. You will see a lot of that. And those are things that, when you're supposed to be here for the people, it should always be about the people. So, ex-mayor Jackson Mayor Lubamba and ex-city council member Banks plead guilty in public corruption case. It says Lubamba, former Jackson Mayor Chokwe Antoine Lubamba, and former city council member Aaron Banks on Monday pled guilty to conspiracy and federal corruption case that rocked Mississippi's capital city. Their pleas came a week after Hinds County District Attorney Judge Owens made a similar plea in the case, and a week before Lubamba and Banks were set to go to trial. Why would you try? Some of these people always just, I'll take my chances going to trial. When you decide to go to trial, you are thumbing your nose at the prosecutors. And generally, your sentence, if found guilty, is longer, and you're going to do more time as opposed to the plea. And that's generally what the consensus is. It says on Monday, Lubamba pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit bribery, wire fraud, and money laundering, with Banks pleaded guilty to one count conspiracy to commit bribery. They face penalties up to 5 years in prison and fines up to $250,000. And the government on Monday said it will be requesting restitution. Sentencing for the three tentatively is for October the 15th. Lubamba left the packed courtroom. Some of the supporters placed their hands on their chests, wiping tears from their eyes. But see, and let me tell you something, what happened with a lot of these backdoor deals. They do them. It's in regards to the people. It gets good to them. They become drunken with power. We've seen it. They become entitled. And a lot of them think they become deities. Like, you do what I say. I'm the person, and it gets just a little, they get them palms greased so much that it becomes normal for them. Like, you can't catch me. I got this. I'm untouchable. And it happens. And we see it. We see it. Look, our golf courses. We have got that as went out to be, well, 3 years it received a no bid contract. Well, 2 years it went out. The companies that actually bid it for Swartz Creek and Kersley Golf Course, they didn't get the bids. They were the lowest. Instead, what are we doing? City of Flint is paying with the contract just underneath that $75,000 threshold. And what happens with that money? We really don't know, because the city assessor said, hey, we should not be allowing them to be making a private profit with a public property. We paid them $72,000 and we're supposed to split the profits 50-50. There have been zero profits on that golf course. Why would they continue to do business? Mayor Neely has got 5 rubber stampers. 5. You can't, council is the co-equal branch. 5 rubber stampers who have given him what he wants. That is the only bar at the golf course, and I'm honest, being honest with you, I have seen that doesn't make any money. What do you do at golf? You golf, you have cocktails, you own your car. That is the only golf course at the bar has never made any money. And we have 2. One, Kersley has 18 holes. Swartz Creek has 18 holes in a 9-hole. They have a banquet center. But what they don't have is ever any profit. So why do they keep giving them a no bid contract? What about 420 Day? That is one of their biggest events. And so in that, and I've read it to all of you before, where, they had the unauthorized cannabis events. They never show the profits. They've asked them for their financials and have refused to give their full financials. Refuse. I've said it from my counsel seat. I've given it to my attorney, because at this point in the stage, anything I do, just so all of you know, I do it with my attorneys. Absolutely do. Because you cannot play here in Flint with them. They play dirty and they play nasty, and they cut your throat. They don't care. They don't care about the people. They keep you suppressed by telling you there is no crime. That's what they do. So today's proceedings mark the conclusion. We'll go back to the article that Mayor Labamba's legal journey, that they did not end in larger national conversation. He accepted accountability before the court today. Decisions should not obscure the broader historical reality. But here it is. This is a guy that he had everything. He had everything. But what he did was he didn't take care of the people. So when you're doing, brokering deals, you got to pay to play is really what they call it. You got these contractors that if you're going to do business with me, then you're going to have to do as I say. It's no different than with Mayor Neely. LGC Global does our service lines. And how many times has he actually they've given him two fundraisers. He's had two fundraisers, one in Bloomfield Hills, and he had one, and LGC is our service line. One is in Bloomfield Hills, and then the other one was in Pontiac. And so it's this: you do this for me, I do this for you. And so I'm going to send this one to you because I'm going to put it up there. So how we how we constantly get sold out. What does Pontiac have to do with Flint? Okay, this is what I'm saying. But what we don't do is ever hold our elected officials accountable. Okay, and not just that, he had another fundraiser in Bloomfield Hills. But what do we get? We don't. Flint residents don't get it. When you take an oath for the elected office, it should be to serve the people. I've seen so much dirty play in the politics to where, someone asked me, we'll talk about that at the end, about they keep making reference to pillow talk. When my life get that interesting, look, I will let y'all know. I promise you, but it is not that interesting. Not right now. Just let just let you know. So La Bamba was doing some, pay to play. So here we go. We have Mayor Neely's fundraiser. And this was April 24th. It was in Bloomfield Hills. The person that was giving it was LGC Global, the service line replacement. They were giving him a fundraiser. Mayor Neely is seeking his third term to continue to lift Flint from crisis to recovery. April 24th, 6 to 8, Bloomfield Hills. So this was the service line replacement person. Our service lines are not complete. He asked the concerned pastors to stand with them. Only one concerned pastor stood with him. The rest of them said, I think we're going to stay home. All service lines are not complete. And in the contract, residents were felt, number one, that's all service lines, and they're not all complete. And they're still working on business, and then they're working on some of what they say the hardest ones. So while he's out fundraising, because it's about money for him, Flint's poverty, where we were number 148 with people. We have the highest number of people, according to Wallet Hub, living in poverty, while he's in Pontiac and Bloomfield Hills fundraising. Fundraising. It's not about the people. But one thing that they rest on and leave these up to is that you won't vote. I need your vote. I need you to tell your cousins, your sisters, your brothers, your auntie, your cousin friend, I need your vote. And what we have to start doing is saying, we got to look out for our communities. He's in Pontiac. He is everywhere. Bloomfield Hill. And this is the service line. Our service lines are not complete, but he's having fundraisers by them. Fundraisers at their homes, their mansions, not small, not our little 2-3 bedroom, 1,000 or 1,400 square feet homes. It's at their mansions. And so he has a very cozy relationship with them, a very cozy one. And this is when it's not about the people. So people look at the roads. He's doing everything. Now I told you about that big pothole. It wasn't a pothole. It was a hole because Courtney Bennett was going to climb down in it. When you got a 5 foot something hole in the street, and I said, look, send me your potholes. I will put them up. They will fix them. What did they do after that interview? And with Clack and I did it together, Michael Clack. They came and fixed it. They came and fixed it. So the person who normally was over that department, Dan, his name was Howard Hudson. He quit Friday. He quit last week. He quit. He would do the water main breaks. He was over that. Dan quit. Dan said, nah, I'm not doing this. We can't keep people. We cannot keep talent here. Flint this election is so important. This is not leave this one because this is the really powerful one to me. I mean, you in Bloomfield Hills. We are not, when you drive in Bloomfield Hills, let me tell you what you do. The roads are smoother. It's more quiet. You almost feel like you're in a different place. When you are riding on Flint's roads, it is you hearing it. We hear gunshots. Last night, Michael Clack posted he heard gunshots. It was like right around 3. And then I heard them also. So I don't know if they were driving and doing them, but there were gunshots. So this is why this election is important. When you become very braggadocious about how well you're living, and this is literally in your face, our service lines aren't complete, but you're pimping and getting money from the contractor who's completing them. It's not no. When do the people come first? How about let's talk about them $1,000 checks? I mean, if any, look, who didn't get the $1,000 check or who did? Put it in the comments. If you got the $1,000 check, put it in the comment. If you didn't get the $1,000 check for being poisoned by the water because lead corroded, the pipes were corroded and lead leached into the water. There was TTHMs, there was PFAS. If you didn't, if you didn't get that check, put it in. Yes, I got the check. No, I didn't get the check because everybody didn't get the check. Everybody did not get the check. They didn't. And so no one has been paid on this water settlement or the $626 million. And let me tell you another thing what they're doing. There is no transparency. They are trying to find out. There was a news article, Detroit News, stating that one of the issues was that they're asking for transparency with the interest and how much of that they're spending. They're not telling you. They're not telling anyone how much they're paying for these extra companies, extra attorneys, these extra fees. They do not know what are the extra fees. And so that's something that we're going to get into because Detroit News, they are investigating what are the extra fees. They're investigating it. And so who looks out for the residents? Well, he's in Bloomfield Hills in Pontiac, living his best life. And the home is beautiful. It's a beautiful home. Absolutely gorgeous. But it's not what we have here. We do have mansions over off of Miller Road, but you're the mayor here. When do the people come first? So I'm putting this out because people need to know. Let me tell you what Flint votes. About 25% of the people vote. The largest election people voted in about the past 50 years or 30 years was Obama, President Obama. Substitute $1,000 nowhere near where y'all need, what y'all had to say it again. Thank you. Substitute teacher JB, teaching JB. Yes. So when we talk about where Flint should be, that $1,000 check, and some didn't get it. And literally, they were saying they couldn't find people. I know people who they were born in the house, and the kids worked and took the house when the parents, which are adults, and they never lived in another house. And they claimed they couldn't find them. They had one address their whole life. How are you not finding them? How? It makes no sense to me. So let's go back to that. So service lines, we know the guy Howard Hudson, he quit. He went back to Texas. I was told Mike Ryder quit. He's retiring. He was doing his countdown. He's like, hey, I'm out of here. Mike Ryder is our building permit and inspections department. His last day is Friday. Attorney Cups, KUPTC, his last day is going to be this Friday. We are still shedding talent. The morale is in the toilet. It's horrible. It is time for a change. We can't keep people. When we talk about the list, and today I had a conversation, and they're naming all of the talent that we've lost. Flint has to rebuild itself, rebuild talent. We haven't had a DPW since 2022, March 17, when Mike Brown quit. And then we had Kenneth Miller, and Kenneth Miller actually was a manager, wasn't DPW because he didn't have some of the licensing and the requirements and the criteria by the charter. And so when we talk about this, this is something that I put it up here so you all can share, and I put up the facts so you can see it. But he's in Bloomfield Hills with the service line. They depend on you not voting. They depend that we are so Flint fatigued that you're not going to vote. They depend on the fact that you're not coming out. I need you to tell your people for yourself. We have to change things. I need your vote. We can take volunteers. This is the people's campaign. This is the people's. We have every reason to get out and say he had since 2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. It is time for a change. We have allowed him to gaslight this community. He will leave a millionaire. And our city, we're not doing like we should. We're nowhere where we should be. I had a form for Abdul. I'm sorry, Maria Carter. Can you put that one back up? I didn't catch that one that she put up there. And I had him come. Where do I know to get my? Come look 4130. Put it in the chat if you need a sign. Or Maria, you can text me at 8 if you need a sign. And someone put this in the chat 810-880-3300. If you need a sign, 810-880-3300. 810-880-3300. And that will get you a sign. And Maria, drop in there too what size. And we do have some shirts left until they're gone. So if you need a shirt, there are no small sizes. So for all the people that if you're itty bitty, we don't have any small sizes. Smalls we have, there's some largest left. And then we go all the way up to a 4X. So we do have some shirts left. So if you need a sign, the sign's gonna go with a shirt. So you get a sign in the yard, we giving you a shirt. So look, put those in there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 880-30. And the address is 4130 Clyde Road. The office is open. Opens up at 9 o'clock to about 7 o'clock. So you can come get a sign and get a shirt. Or you can text me and we'll make sure our volunteer team will put a sign down in your yard. They will put a sign down in your yard. So what they bank on in Flint is that you won't vote. We need you to come out in droves for a change to let them know. We need you to come out to say, we're not taking this no more. We need a comprehensive public safety plan. Just, I believe, yesterday, and then prayers to Reed Johnson. It was her niece. 2 people got shot on Comstock. Both of them were shot in the head, and I think the arm too. And so every day we hear gunshots. That one was 2 days ago, I believe. Then there was gunshot. But anyway, we get gunshots every day to where, sadly, we don't even think it's abnormal. It has become a part of our soundscape it's our norm. And it's not normal. It's not normal. And this is something when I talk with my attorneys, we talk about it and some of the things because they live kind of all over. Hardest thing, y'all, was for me to find an attorney here in Flint because no one wants to do this because Flint is cliquish. And so when you want to cultivate change, you got to go out the way to do something different. But they think we won't vote. I need your vote. I need your vote. I need your children. I need your mother, your father, your church members. I need your parishioners. I need your brothers, your sisters. I need your vote. It is time for a change. And Flint is not the place to where you're going to be on a learning curve. No, People say, well, how do you get things done? I could have got a lot more done if we had an administration who was serious about working with the council. I didn't have that. I had a meeting with Mayor Neely at one time, and one of the questions, it was the last meeting I had in 2022. And he was like, well, Tanya, Flint is a honeypot. I can't be bored. I done did all those other things, running my business. I done did all those other things. I'm not looking for that now. That's not where I'm at. I'm not looking for, I did the travel and I took my kids. I've did all those things. I want to make our city better. I want our city to be safer. I want families to come back. I want good businesses to come that don't harm us or our environment to be here. And those are things that we can build together. Flint is a gem. It's a gem, but we get people who keep raking off the top of Flint and not using Flint as a whole. We come as a package. I want you to come see Flint and see Flint through my eyes. I call it Tour de Flint. Flint is a gem. You remember me and Dennis drove around in his tank and his what's the name of that car? His oh God, the Elon. What is the name of his vehicle? And we had the cameras on the side to show people that there are beautiful parts of Flint, and that neighborhood revitalization, it begins with all of us, that we have got to come together. We've got to. It's been so many divisive things, and we're gonna get into that. And it's Tesla. Thank you, Maria. Thank you. It's Tesla truck. Yes. But when we rode around in it, you could see different parts of town. And Flint was a beautiful city and has beautiful parts, and it should all be beautiful. We should have revitalization on not on just downtown, the east side, the north side. We should have it everywhere. I purposely chose to put my office, my campaign office, on Clio Road, and I'm going to tell you why. Um, Business owners, I've seen businesses will go out of business because they don't get the support that they need. And a friend of mine, when they had the Don Donuts, they needed more support. Clio Road is a main thoroughfare with the traffic that comes through here. And we need to make it a point of building this up, building business up in this area, and supporting small business owners. And one thing I've seen, even with Divide, I had, when we had our campaign opening, I'm like, why are y'all sitting across the street watching? That was just strange to me. And then some lies came out that I was trying to put somebody out of business. And this is where this administration consistently divides us. Absolutely was not true, because you know me, I'm gonna get on and do the little email. And Mike Ryder said, I said there was supposed to be a complaint by me. And it's on my page, because I put both the emails up. The one I sent, and then the one that Mike Ryder sent back at 6:26 a.m. He says, because they told this business owner that I was putting him out of business, that I had made a complaint. Absolutely had not made a complaint. Matter of fact, I bought food from him. And so, and support his business. And so when you divide purposely, you're not a nice, you're a horrible person, as a matter of fact. You're a horrible person to do that. And so when it came back, Mike Ryder said, there is no complaint. No complaint has been made. No complaint has been made by you. But would you like to make one? No, I would not. And this was the lie that they told this business owner, to put us or to pit us against each other. Satan, you a lie. When you wear 5 crosses on you and you still got a demon inside you, something is wrong. I did not file a complaint. I put up both the emails. They're time stamped and they're dated. And this is where we have to stop. We're talking about being divisive. This is a device that has to stop. What we should be doing is growing our businesses. How do we take a small business who may be a pop-up shop and grow them into a brick and mortar building? How do we, help them to access easier ways to get loans and to get grants? How do we support them? What is our hub that we are sharing businesses? And, it's just not there. People don't be excited. I lived in Chicago. Of course, it's a bigger city, third largest city. Totally different. And it goes from top down. You got to love where you live and feel appreciated where you live. And it's time that we change this. Like I said, they think that only 25% of the people will vote. I need your vote. I need your vote. I need you to get engaged. I need you to be involved. I need you to have a fire lit underneath you that you believe in change. You believe that we can change Flint together, that together we can change. I need that. I need that. And I can tell you from my race and council, 2021, which I found out later that back then I was getting some death threats, people calling on my phone. They decided to put up all kind of stuff, put my house up, or buy my mother's house, put my kids' names up. And it was funny because I found out later last year that the person who did it, it was on their computer. It was on their computer and it was given to me that it was on their computer, that you put my life in danger, which now my attorneys have, and it has been turned over to the FBI because I'm not going to play with people. I'm absolutely not going to do it. And so 2021, during that time, and on Leon L. Alamene's computer, Mayor Sheldon Neely had him go after me. And I think I shared this on the show before. I showed you the screenshots of the computer. 2021. And I was like, this was who was doing this? And so they play nasty in politics. So in this race, there were 5 people. It got down to 2 in the primary. I won the primary, and then it went on to the general, and it was me and Miss Perkins, and her and I were in the race. Then they put Chris Del Moroni and Leslie Haney in there. And I had no problem with Chris Del Moroni until he passed away. May he rest in heaven. And then with Leslie, I didn't think I really had a problem with her, but he divided this community. He divided it. And so when it got down to that, it was me and Miss Perkins, and then he had 2 write-ins. And he did this to, what we call spoilers in elections, spoilers, to spoil the election, to try to spoil the race. I was lucky to win the primary and the general. And Flint, I need that to happen again. And I can only do it with you. Imagine if I was able to do the things, I'm getting things accomplished. We talk about, I got roads, I got sidewalks. I have wrote some ordinance. I wrote that, which is funny because he uses the reckless driving one. That was mine because people got hit on, they got hit on, unfortunately lost their lives. Told now of 5 people, 3 had died on Ballinger Highway. Imagine if we could do some great things together. Give me that opportunity. We are only limited by what we can do because of the Flint City Charter. We cannot direct anyone to do anything. I answer my phone and I care. I care. When we look at how they have split this community, even with the small business, I'm like, you would do that? But I wasn't shocked because that's what it looks like when you run the city like you're a tyrant. It's time to change that. No one person is any better than the other person. And that is the truth. That is the truth. So, so if you need a sign, text me to 810-880-3300. So we are going to go on to let's talk about this flyer because I had to crack up. I mean, I was concerned. Let me say this. And Jonathan, I think I sent you a picture of, and it's going to look maybe kind of weird, I think. And it may be a picture of some flowers. Let me see. Let me see. Listen, y'all, I'm looking for this. I may not have sent it because it was coming out maybe a little blurry. But I think it did come up. Yes, Jonathan. That's it. So, y'all, we're going to come back to this. But when I asked for it, Jonathan, that's going to be the one. They used to call my office at City Hall when I worked in economic development, and I had about 25 positions. I felt like they were calling it a funeral home or mortuary because I like flowers. Lilies are my favorite flower. So this was my desk. So we're going to go on to, let's do the flyer. Let's look at this flyer. So there was a flyer that many people received in the mail today. And we're going to go through the flyer and we're going to go through it. Yes. So can you make it bigger over the screen? Thank you. Thank you. So this is Mayor Neely's flyer. Promises made, promises kept. Um, let's start on the other side, the other one first. And we're going to go down the list. On the other side, Jonathan. I hope I sent you the other side. Y'all, look, I'm doing 25 things. I have not woke up out the bed and not been on the phone not one single day. I'm being honest with you. I go to bed and I'm finishing up a phone call. So let's let's go on the other side. Let me make sure I sent that one to you. Um, uh, look, please kindly donate to Cash App. I just sent it. If you don't have it, I just sent it. So promises made, promises kept. So the picture and the flowers, we're going to get back to that. Those were the promises that were made that were going to be a top priority. And let me tell you, that top priority list that you saw that was in my office with the flowers, me and Arthur Woodson argued about that forever. And I'm being honest with you. And I'm going to tell you why. His priority was not my priority. And I'm not that it was one was more than the other, but it was like, how do you, you know, if uptick in, or there was, shootings start to uptick in violent crime, but if you're dead, you can't drink the water. Um, how do you. And so they were not in chronological order anymore. They were just there. Just these were things that were supposed to be done. They were supposed to be done. So promises made, promises kept. 7 years balanced budget promise kept. Well, we know last year, one, they have not amended these budgets, none whatsoever. And remember back when Miss Inez Brown said, because why? Mayor Neely has 5 rubber stampers. Now let's go back to, they have this general fund. That was a ding, that was a sign, gonna have it on the way. Promises made, promises kept. So we know last year we had to go back to adopt the fiscal year 2025. So this is a lie. We were over our date. And so he does not tell the truth about these things. Council members have not held his feet to the fire. They just have not. They have ridden on the coattails of Mayor Neely instead of making the harsh decisions and choices to do what is right. So next one, it said avoided bankruptcy, promise kept. You entered your when in 2019, you had a $24 million fund balance. $24 million fund balance. That was, you didn't come in bankruptcy. So that's it, gaslighting this community. Mayor Weaver had a $24 million fund balance. We're going to get into some of the dirty dog stuff because this is why it has to change. That was done. And we're going to clear some stuff up. So no emergency manager. Well, okay, if you say so, but Mayor Neely, you looking a lot like an emergency manager. No layoffs. There were no layoffs. That part is true. But most of our department people are quitting, so we don't need layoff. Dan Hudson just quit. Mike Ryder said, hey, I'm out of here. I'm retiring. You got Attorney Cup said, hey, I'm out of here. I'm gone. I mean, we have the highest turnover rate with employees in any municipality that I know. Our turnover rate is that high in every department, almost every department, except for our police chief. We haven't had a police chief turnover since 2020 when Chief Hart was not. And so, but we're going to get into that too with the crime. So there have been no layoffs, but we're still losing people. People don't want to work here. We can't hire a DPW director. We now are going to have Dan's, his name was Howard, but he went by Dan and his department. I'm going to tell you something. I Dan would do some things that I appreciated, and that when you function with a dysfunctional administration, like I say, hey Dan, I need you to put a barrel out for me, or I need to do this, and he would do it. Well, literally, they do not want us to talk to anyone. I mean, and these aren't like small holes. Y'all saw that hole that was deep. The hole sucked up the barrel. The hole got so big, the barrel went down into it. That happened. Hired more police. Well, you had to hire because we only keep them no more than, at the 3-year contract, they're gone. Why? Because Flint police are still not paid one of the highest rates. On top of that, they get the most, they run about 25 to 30 calls per single car when other municipalities run between 4 and 7. So they work, what, 5 times harder for pay that had been lower, and it's still not equal to all the municipalities. And so when we look at these things, we have to say, hey, what's going on here? And so we hired more police because we lost more police. And this is how he plays on this. He gaslights this community. He gaslights this community, and he does it all the time, all the time. And so when we talk about this, you hire them because one, they quit. They quit and say, hey, I'm out of here. And they're gone. And so you have to hire more. So technically he's saying, I'm telling the truth because I hired more. But he's not telling you how quick they leave. Has he done the women's police officers changing room, locker room yet? Because I've been asking. I'm just saying, this is my 5th year on council. Do women matter in the city of Flint? Has it been done? The toilet overflows, the sinks are broken, the lockers are old. When do the women matter here? I'm just saying. And so these are things that when he says, we hired more police, you don't have the capacity of what it takes to run the city with the police, and they're tired. They're running from scene to scene. At that light, it's on my page. We did not have enough police at the corner of Flushing Road and DuPont. That lady laid out there on that ground. Her ambulance took off because I took that had her in it at 7:42, I believe. I think it was 7:42 that the ambulance finally took her away. She had had a stroke, laid there on the middle of the street, and the ambulance was just leaving. And so when we talk about these things, and the light stayed out for 6, 7 hours, there was no light. There was no light. And so I'm going to show, because so Rich Jones and everyone saw I'm going to pull it up because this isn't my timestamp. Y'all know that. And so the timestamp will show, that's not what I want. The time that she finally was able to be taken away. And we can pray, but we need better services. That lady laid there on that ground, and then there was a mom that was there, and this will show me. I'm gonna send this to you, Jonathan. So the call came in right after 6 o'clock. Um, right after 6 o'clock, and you will see we didn't have a police officer. The cars were left. Then I came back hours later, and that's when the scene was cordoned off at all 4 poles. And I was told the lady did not make it, but she laid on that ground, and you will see. Let me finish this before you put up that one I just sent you, Jonathan. That was her ambulance that she was in. That call came in just after 6 o'clock. We didn't have an ambulance for almost 2 hours available in the city of Flint. We had this problem before. And so it's time, thank you, it's time for a change. So you hired more police, and our police are tired. They're running from scene to scene. They're exhausted. I went over there. We got literally the phone was going off and people with the gunshots over on Copeman and Seneca. And so there were 4 women that were shot, but there was another 2 men who went to another business who were grazed by bullets. They were grazed because the business owner called me. And so when we look at this 4 women who were shot at Copeman, these are legal nuisance parties. Tell me why we still doing these. I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding. They had their own security walking around with assault rifles, but that didn't work out. I mean, and what happened to quiet enjoyment? People don't have that anymore in their homes. They just don't. Hire more police. Okay, but let's say this. That lady at the corner of DuPont and Flushing laid in that street. Her ambulance didn't take off till we're going to have the time. We're going to put it up. Created large blight teams. He did. I will say Arnold Brown does a great job, but there's more that we need to do because Flint has went through so much deterioration over the years. Demolished condemned homes. Well, that was wait. I don't think we really want to brag about this part because Beverly Biggs Levy, one, let's say she discovered that some homes were being torn down without asbestos abatement. So not only was our water polluted, but our air was polluted with asbestos because the abatements were not done and they were fined by the state. On top of that, our other demoed homes were done by the county. City of Flint Council voted, along with the administration, to give 15 million over to the county to demo homes. Those other ones go through the blight office. And check this out: in 2020, blight and demolition was moved. Mayor Neely had it moved over to his budget. It had never been placed underneath the mayor's budget. The mayor controls blight and demolition underneath his budget. So he's dealing with the contractors, and the contractors, some of them say he's meeting with them. They're meeting with the contractors. A couple of them said, hey, they want him to know, are you going to donate to my campaign or the birthday card fund? I don't know what that means, but y'all heard that with that guy Carmack. That was on the video with Mike Kilbreath. No water rates. He has not increased water rates because we have used ARPA funds to balance that off. So, but I do want you to let's put up the ambulance now. So there was also an ambulance there was one on the south side. So you see the time. That's the date, July 3rd. This is the ambulance that the lady who was just finally being taken away. If you go down there, that's Mr. Love's house, and then that's the intersection down there. That's the time on that is 7:24 p.m. That call came in just after 6 o'clock. So she was out there, sadly, in the street with no help, no medical attention, none, for what, an hour and a half, 2 blocks away from Hurley Hospital, less than a mile away from McLaren Hospital, or just over a mile, in between 2 hospitals, 2 blocks away from Hurley Hospital. And she laid in that street. 7:24 is when it's time stamped. That's the ambulance that she left in. And this is just unacceptable. And this is the first time that we had a slow ambulance response. And so when Rich Jones called me, what I told Rich Jones was, he said, Tonya, she's been out here for over half an hour. Is there anything you can do? I called 911. There is a call for me. I called back and she said, we're trying to get an ambulance. We don't have one that's available. You can FOIA my 911 call. That is what, and there were several calls, about 4 of them. So I called back and I said, you don't have an ambulance available? Help me understand. She says, all of them are out fighting fires. We know that our ambulance drivers are firefighters, and we know that they're running around because we've had a high increase in fires in our city. And so we know that that is happening. And so I called back. I said, well, look, can we dispatch a fire truck then? Because our fire fighters are EMTs. They did send a fire truck. And then by then, that's when the ambulance, you can't see the fire truck was down on the other side. But we're over an hour and a half later. The street light, the light stayed out. It was for a few days. Call back before, can you come put stop signs up? Because people were still blowing through. And during that video, you'll see people were blowing through. People just don't slow down in Flint. Flint stop signs are unfortunately optional. Hour and 24, over about an hour and a half later, this lady was still just now on her way to the hospital when she had life-threatening injuries. When they picked her up, they said she was non-responsive. She was non-responsive, and she was critical. So I do want to say that, in prayers for her family. I was told she did not make it. Getting information from the city, you just don't get it. So guess where I have to go? I have to go outside to get things different ways. And it's sad because there's zero transparency. 2 blocks away from the hospital, 2 blocks away. And she laid out there on that ground at an intersection of DuPont and Flushing Road. Unacceptable. It's time for a change. No resident should have to call me for help. That's not a hard thing to figure out. We had nobody. And so I asked them, I said, so if we don't have a Flint ambulance available, which I hope there isn't another memorandum of understanding like they had before. We have went before in 2023, I believe, or 22, but we had no ambulances in the city available for over a 24-hour period. That's a fact. And we're going to get into that because I'm going to put the paperwork up. Y'all know that I went to the 911 because I didn't believe it. I wanted to know how was 911 was working because they was telling me something that just was crazy. But what I understand was that when they do these memorandum of understandings, which is an MOU, they tell them what they can do and what they cannot do. And so I asked them, I don't care, send somebody else. You can't get another agency to come, another company. Flint didn't pick them up. It was Swartz and Patriot came. Flint did not come. So do we have another MOU that only Flint can come while people are laying on the ground dying with critical injuries? Come on, y'all. 7:24. The time is right there. That was Swartz and Patriot came. And then the fire truck came. We got to stop dividing the city, but these are life-threatening issues. You know, they'll tell you all these crazy things like, oh, no, this is happening. I'm putting the proof up here. And so when we talk about these things that people feel when we have these, ambulances, our firefighters, we know that people are, St. Mark was set on fire. Come on, y'all. They burning up churches in Flint. Burning up churches, literally burning up churches. 3 gasoline cans found there. Dumping the fire or the gasoline and throwing a soaked rag, igniting it and throwing it into the church in Flint. That was the most botched at first. I couldn't understand it. I honestly could not understand it. And so I asked the battalion chief, I said, well, can you come back and send someone with St. Mark Fire to come and, take the gasoline cans? You know what the response was? It was Friday, holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend. They said, leave it there till Tuesday. Leave the evidence there till Tuesday. One was in the field, the other one was in some dumpsters. Leave it there till Tuesday. Help me understand who leaves evidence there till Tuesday. I was told that they was instructed to not come back out to St. Mark. I was told this. Here it is, you have a church who feeds the community, provides mental health services, who provides a safe space and place for teens to play basketball, who has clothing drives, who serves this community religiously. And literally, they were saying to leave it till Tuesday. You have a whole crime scene. No, you get somebody back out now. Now. I've never seen the corruptness and the blatant disregard for even doing your job. Where's the honor in doing your job? Where's that at? I've never seen it. Thank you to the ATF and thank you to the DOJ who was saying, you know what, we're going to solve this. You don't get to burn churches because it's felonies and it's a federal crime. And because we actually had an agency who was investigating, they have 2 people. And I believe, and I'm going to tell you, they did 18 search warrants, and I believe there's more than that. So at court, there were 18 search warrants that they did, and they said that it's more. So let's shake out who the little arsonist is. I don't have any respect for anyone who's burning up churches. Now give your life to Christ before it's too late. And if you found Jesus, good. But you owe that church an apology, you owe that pastor, you owe that congregation. You need to redeem yourself. You burning up churches? You're asking somebody to burn a church up for you? Who does that? Who does? But this is the culture that has been created underneath this administration and with these people. They don't care. There's no compassion. When you burning up churches and people don't even say and come out, I've never seen that. But I'm going to say this, that when I went live, the community showed up. There was pastors, there was preachers, there was teachers, there were students. There were people who came from Wayne County, Saginaw County, Frankenmuth, because they cared. You don't burn up churches. And so we have to stand, and we need to stand together with St. Mark. This community has been hurt so much that we have got Flint fatigue. We've been poisoned by the water. They poison our air with illegal tear downs and not doing asbestos abatements. You ain't got your $1,000 checks. You ain't got your the settlement from being poisoned, and some of you won't get those. That $626 million settlement. And then they keep gaslighting and breadcrumbing you and not telling you the truth. It's time for a change. It's time for a change. So let's go back to let's flip that card over. We hire more police. Yeah, no one want to work for you. Don't respect them. Their pay sucks. So promises made, promises kept. And he says, so he has a quote on there. Hey, vote August 4th. Vote for Tonya Burns. Vote for Tonya Burns. And so listen, and it says, he has a quote. We are on the verge of transformational growth in Flint. More jobs, new housing, and less crime. We cannot change leadership now. Our future is too important. Read it again, y'all, because this is not my quote. We are on the verge of transformational growth in Flint. More jobs, new housing, and less crime. What city they in that's less crime? Because Chief Green did a video saying he got an uptick in crime in May. See, this is when they lie in your face and the proof, we see it. You tell me at night when it's just quiet and you don't hear gunshot or keeping the community informed or police operations or social media isn't taking off. You tell me that. It happens every single night. You can't just, go for a night drive. We don't feel that way. I want to bring Flint. When people say, oh, there's nothing you can do, that's a damn lie. Baltimore, Maryland reduced their crime by 85%. 85%. Portland, Oregon. There are things that we can do. I've been asking since 2020. Let's get a comprehensive public safety. Was working with Chief Green, still got my notes, but then he can't do his job because the mayor is a micromanager. You get credit for it, Chief Green, not me. I want to save people. You want to save your job. We on two different things. When you work for your best friend and your best friend won't let you work with a person, say, hey, let me help you. And this is, and well, I'm gonna put out there, Chief Green, he had really, and he knows what to do. This is what grinds me with him. There are things that he shared with me and things that we collaborated on. He said, nope, I'm gonna do this. And we were able to get some things done. What stopped things from getting done with Chief Green was because Mayor Neely didn't want him to work with me. Did not. He can't take my calls. He don't respond to my emails. I told him about and text, email, and called him about 2 days before a little girl on Barber Drive in Holmes was shot. Gave him the shooter's name. Gave him where the gun was at. Sent the email to him and a captain. Little girl was shot in the back, 14 years old, critical, 2 days later. No response. When you want to be so right that you're willing to let lives be taken, you can FOIA my emails, or I can put it up and show you. I have told him we can talk privately, or I can talk publicly. I'm done. We burying kids, not And I was going through some things. Yes, we had 9-year-old Tahari Knox, and I don't know, he didn't. People tried to say, oh, well, she used that child. No, what I did, that was actually the third person this year, third person that I have asked Sheldon Banks Funeral Home, Serenity, to bury. Ashley Williams died. She was shot. She was pregnant. Her baby was 2 days old. They kept her alive to bury her baby. They named the baby Isaiah. Her mother's name is Kathy Williams. She will tell you I called to make sure she buried her child. Everything I do with my hands are in, I do not, because it's for the good of the community. Tahari Knox, that was in my Altoona. Ashley's mom was not in my ward. It doesn't matter because we got to come together. So yes, I helped her in every way I could. And the part that killed me, they had the nerve to say I tried to. You know how many babies and children I have helped to bury? I don't want to do it no more. So when I'm going back to 2020, when I saw the uptick, because we know that social media or the street knows it before anyone else, we know there's a problem. You can't fix what you're not willing to talk about and acknowledge. It's time for a change. That little girl went to bed, 9-year-old Tahari, 13-year-old Trinity. And it's another 9-year-old who says she got shot while she was in the bed. I'm going to put it up here. She said, I didn't even know I got shot. We got another 11-year-old, and then there was a 5-year-old. We have got, and I could keep going down the list, but you never hear this mayor or Chief Green will talk about it if forced. But he don't talk about it either. We still asking Chief Green. Last year, July 31st through August 1st, how many people got shot? His number stopped at 9. There were 22 people shot during that weekend. 22. Remember the pepper spray too? There were 22 people, and the officers were, yes, they were upset. Not a good decision, the pepper spray, but they seen 17 people get shot. That wears on our officers. 17 people were shot just at that event, and another 5 were shot. A total of 22 people. And on that video that Deborah Coleman, who lives in the first ward, she said, and she stated during that when he was talking to her, he said 17 bodies got dropped. That is what that officer said. You never heard Mayor Neely state it. You never heard Chief Green say it. You can't fix what you're not willing to acknowledge. So you had one of the deadliest gun violence weekends and nobody picked it up and nobody talked about it. So they think we don't know we have a gun violence problem. We got one. So less crime is BS. Less crime is a joke. They lie to you and tell you stuff. They gaslight you. It's a lie. We have got an uptick. And I'm going to show you his video where he says, hey, we got an uptick in crime. Because we do. We have a problem. And they won't even talk about 2024, 10 children were shot. 2020, that's just the children. And where is the gun violence? Where's the outrage at? Where's it at? You don't hear it. Did you hear your mayor say anything? 10 children were shot in 2024. What other city were 10 children shot at and no one said anything? Atlanta, Georgia, the mayor came and spoke that the gun violence is a public health crisis on children's lives. He came out, he spoke. He won't speak about anything bad because you know what he said? He is never wrong. And if he ain't never wrong, come on. This is going to be one of the nastiest campaign races, and I'm telling y'all, because all they do is gaslight and lie to you. And I'm going to show you some of the campaign things that they do, because, hey, I was reached out to the lady who said that there was absentee ballots being handed out, Marcia. She said it didn't happen, but we're going to go over that a little later. But I'm telling you, crime is not down. It's not down. And when they put on there crime is less, it's not. It's not down. We just had those people, it wasn't 4, it was actually 6 who were shot from Seneca and Coleman. Then it was bullet cases that went all the way down the street. You can't fix what you ain't willing to acknowledge. But let's play a video. Let's see what our police chief says about crime being down. You ain't got to take my word. You can take his. So Jonathan, when you get a chance, let's cue up that video. We talk about violent crime going down. When you got it up, just pop it up. Violent crime 2024, 1,685. The numbers don't lie.
With coverage you can count on, this is WNEN TV5 News.
Flint police providing an update on Friday morning's deadly drive-by shooting that left a 9-year-old girl dead and her 12-year-old sister critically injured. It happened on a home on Altoona Street, where police tell us 230 rounds were fired at the house. TV5's James Felton joins us live from Flint to tell us what police have to say about the recent uptick in gun violence. James?
Chief Green told us what happened on Friday morning was tragic, senseless, and unnecessary. Terrence Green told us he believes there was more than one shooter involved in the killing of Tahari Knox. Green says there were 230 rounds fired into her home. Knox's 12-year-old sister, Allison Galloway, was critically injured and sent to the hospital. She was released on Saturday and continues to recover. Green says the house was targeted, but that these two were not the targets. And if you think there's been an uptick in gun violence lately, Green would say you're right.
There has been an uptick, which concerns me. We've put some initiatives into place that we're going to try to break these cycles of violence. But the majority of our gun violence, a lot of our gun violence this year has been domestic violence related. We've had some other drive-bys, but majority have been domestic violence related, and some arguments that have led to escalated gunfight, escalated situations of gun violence. But yeah, it's concerning. It's concerning when we have one. So I'm very concerned.
And Green tells us there were at least 5 people home at the time of this shooting. He also tells us that the family is receiving assistance through the Witness Protection Program because Green believes this family is still in danger. Reporting in Flint, James Felton, WNEM TV5.
Okay, well, you heard it for yourself. So his flyer said crime is less. And the police chief has said there is a recent uptick in crime. That concerns me. There is an uptick. Uptick means more. Up means more in crime. And so we have to deal with the truth. And crime is less. It's just not true. It's just not true. At all. Not true. So his flyer says one thing, but his police chief says another. So who's lying? Chief Green's not lying, but Mayor Neely's flyer is a bold-faced lie. That flyer is a bold-faced lie. Chief Green told the truth. That flyer is a liar. It just is. So let's put up some of the videos because they don't have to go in sequential order, because we don't have a problem with crime and gunshots and drive-bys and fights, and they hang out at the gas station. I don't know what this is with the gas stations. We need to get them people back into the clubs. Look, let the clubs deal with them. You want to party? All this hanging out at the gas stations. Look, the fight at Sunoco, they locked their doors, called the police. We didn't have a police cruiser. They were fighting in the street. We didn't have an officer available. So you're hiring more police officers. We never have enough. And so they locked the door. The guy, the girl and the guy, they were fighting. And then they went out into the street. They were jumping on his girlfriend, and that's just crazy. It's just crazy. So Phil Jones, 230 right at a house. Tell me someone wasn't trying to unlock. I went in that house, and let me tell you something. I don't know how they made it out. All of them. Her sister was hit 3 times. She is doing well. I haven't spoken with. They are in the Witness Protection Program. And I pray for them. I do, because it's a lot. At that point, we have a 9-year-old little girl who went to bed winning. She was a Girl Scout. She was winning. She just won her track meet the day before her 2 competitions. She was winning. And she didn't wake up. Didn't wake up. Then we go into the church. Debbie and Diane were volunteering to put pink ribbons on everyone. And the mayor's secretary, Tommy, I don't know how she still got a job. I'm going to be honest with you. So Debbie, Diane, and they were very polite. Hey, this is funeral services. And thank you to Sheldon T. Banks. I want to say thank you to Creative Eye Candy. Thank you to Flint Print, because the community came together to make sure that this little girl was taken care of. But Tommy Johnson told Debbie, she said, well, I can pin it. She said, I can pin it on the mayor. She said, well, you bet not stick him. She said, I'm not going to stick him. And Tommy Johnson told the one who took her wig off downtown, who got into the car where the Jeep Wrangler people were saying she was drinking. Yeah, her, Tommy Johnson, who took her wig off. She told Debbie says, I'm not going to prick the mayor. You had a funeral service. They handed out pink ribbons to put on everyone in honor, because that was her favorite color. And she says, I'm just going to, I'll put it on them. Not a problem. This is about Everybody coming together. Tommy told Debbie, and if you do, I'm going to punch you in your throat. I don't know how she still got a job. I don't understand. She got into a fight, was in November, with Councilwoman Candace Mashat in the mayor's conference room. She pulled the wig off downtown, was fussing at the people. I'm just not understanding this. She told Debbie and Diane, I'm going to punch you in the throat. And this is the problem, that when you let it go too far, and right now our crime, things have gotten so far out of hand. Now it's not the time for someone to say, I'm going to learn how to do this. The Flint is not a learning curve. It's not. You don't get a curve to learn. If you have not been involved, you don't know. And this is the part where it's hard. We can't afford a learning curve. We can't. Day one, we have to start. Day one, I have a 100-day plan. We're not coming up and thinking about it. There's a plan. We're starting it. We're initiating it. We're going to deal with the crime. We're going to deal with the blight. We're going to deal with, well, he's fixing all the streets. I don't know what the sequence order, but put some detour signs up. We're going to find out what's going on with the water. And we need to know what is going on with y'all payments, with everybody's payments. There's no transparency. We can't get any answers from nothing. So in order for me to get stuff done, I got to work behind. I be on their phone telling them, press 1, because the city workers cannot talk. Press 1 button if it's yes. If it's no, press 2. I've never seen anything so immature, so recklessly irresponsible. The charter doesn't tell you can't talk to council people. We can't instruct you. There's a difference. But he shut it down. But we know that on his flyer, he said there is no crime, but his police chief said, Chief Green, that there is, and Chief Green knows what to do. I've talked with him. I started working with him on a public safety plan. Mayor didn't want that. No, let's not save our city. I still got the notes because, I like to handwrite. I still have my notes from that. It's time for a change. It's time for a change. So play some of the videos. Because remember, y'all, look, we have no crime. So whichever order you want to put them up in, look, please don't kindly donate to J. Eaton Media Cash App. J. Eaton Media. Thank you.
All new tonight, one young girl is dead, another is in the hospital after a shooting on Flint's northwest side. Police are providing very limited details, but we know that the shooting happened on the 2500 block of Altoona Street around 2 o'clock this morning. The girl killed was dead when police arrived. She was just 9 years old. The other girl is listed in critical condition right now, but is said to be improving. Police have spent more than 16 hours processing the scene. I'm told there were at least 100 shell casings.
To find out, that it was children, it is unbelievable to me. I don't get it.
Tracy Darby lives just a few doors down from this home on Altoona. She was falling asleep when she heard the gunshots ring out.
Sounded like somebody was knocking on my door real hard, and it just went pop, 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 like that many times. And my dog got up in the window, and I yanked my dog down, and I got on the floor.
She yelled for her son. He was calling 911. Darby just moved to Flint about 3 weeks ago from Florida.
I've never heard anything like this. This is like TV stuff to me. I don't know how to handle it. The anxiety's through the roof.
Darby says she doesn't have any regrets about moving here and won't let this shooting change how she feels about the neighborhood. This street is in Flint's 6th Ward, which Tonya Burns represents on City Council.
It should have never happened.
Burns is devastated by the loss of a young life.
The bullets went through that entire home, up through the roof, the front, the windows, the doors. They didn't stand a chance. Who's fighting for our kids?
Burns telling me that she's made multiple requests to have a public safety plan put in place by the police department. She says one hasn't been done.
And it's not about marching anymore. We have to do more. Faith without works is dead.
Councilwoman Burns says this is a call to action and believes change needs to happen. She says more officers need to patrol the area, and she also emphasizes community policing. The bottom line, Burns wants the violence to stop.
A 9-year-old little girl lost her life. She will never go to the prom. She will never have a sweet 16. She will never go to college. She will never get married. And we keep seeing this time and time again.
This afternoon, I reached out to the police department and the mayor's office requesting interviews from the chief and the mayor. My emails were not answered.
How do you not answer a journalist's emails and questions, the police chief and the mayor? How do you not answer the news, the journalists, when you have a tragedy in your community? Your voice is supposed to be able to calm people. People want to know what's going on. You know, you don't respond. And this is what they've done. It's time for them to go. It's time for a change. It's time for a change. You know, they bank on we will not vote. I need you to vote. I need you to vote. This is a vote for us to change our community. I've shown up for people. I need Flint to show up for me. I need Flint to show up for me. Let's play another video because crime is down, right? It's down.
In our top story tonight, already this summer, we've seen gun violence cut young lives short in Flint. Last week, 2 teens were killed in one shooting on Banbury Place. That was last Wednesday. And you're looking at scene video right here from a 23-year-old where he was killed in a separate shooting on Pearson Road on Friday. Also, a family is reeling after a drive-by shooting that happened June 23rd. In that case, the bullets went through the home on Flint's north side, but didn't hit anyone. So far, no arrests have been made. The family has turned over all security cam video to the Flint Police Department, and investigators came out and collected shell casings from the road. But this mother says she can't get any updates from police. She wants to make sure this never happens to them or anyone else in the city.
I'm a registered respiratory therapist, so I see this stuff come in her. I've seen kids come in her. And I don't want to be in that position.
Tamara Smith lives on Flint's north side. This is ring camera video taken just before 12:30 a.m. on June 23rd. Gunshots hitting the home she shares with her children. Her son called her that night while she was at work.
He called me crying, and I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I need you to come home. And I'm like, what's going on? They shooting at the house. And I said, okay. I called Maya, and then that's when she told me what was going on. And I just left.
By the time she got home, there were bullet holes through the house from the front all the way to the back. She says while police have come out, she's not getting any answers as to why the person responsible hasn't been caught.
And so I'm lost. I don't know what else to do. So I just figured I'll just contact the news.
In addition to contacting Mid-Michigan Now, Tamara also called her city councilwoman, Tonya Burns.
I took the call. She had my personal phone number. I didn't know how she got it. I did not ask her until the end because I need to hear her story. She's been desperate for help.
Burns says she knows these drive-by shootings are a problem for families. People are scared their house will be next.
And you feel like no one's helping. You know, and the gun violence, just this last week, we have a gun violence, we have a public safety problem.
Before the summer started, Mayor Sheldon Neely held a press conference announcing this will be a clean and safe summer. But Burns tells me more needs to be done to ensure the safety parts.
We need a public safety plan. We need a comprehensive public safety plan. When people are able to shoot into 2 homes within 8 minutes apart, 12:22 a.m. and 12:30 a.m., and this lawless person is still out there, riding around, still doing drive-bys, posting on social media. We have a problem. They identified who, and there's a video.
Nobody should ever have to bury their child, especially if they're trying to prevent it.
Burns says this increase in violence is concerning. I have reached out to the city's communications personnel and have asked where the investigation into this drive-by shooting stands. I'm waiting to hear back.
And she's still waiting. That was over a year ago. There are so many drive-by shootings and videos. There's so many. And she's still waiting. They haven't contacted her back about that. But let's play the next video because it's time for a change. Unbelievable.
Police are investigating after 3 homes were sprayed with bullets earlier this week. In Michigan Now's Bria Jones is live outside the Genesee County Courthouse after talking with a prosecutor and an advocate for stricter penalties for those drive-by shootings. Bria, what are they all saying?
Good evening, Dave. On Monday, the Flint Police Department says there were 2 separate drive-by shootings. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but as crime rises, prosecutor David Layton says gang activity is a contributing factor.
We have too many young people who don't know how to settle disputes short of violence.
Prosecutor David Layton says unruly youth are fueling Flint's crime problem. With homicides up more than 20%, he says his department is noticing a growing trend in gang activity.
Some of this is gang related. We've been able to identify a number of gangs within the city of Flint. Many of them are just block by block and divided up according to what used to be the elementary school district.
According to Flint Police on Monday, there were 2 drive-by shootings within half an hour. Officers were called to the 2700 block of Terrace Drive around 8:30 at night, where we saw at least one boarded-up home riddled with what appeared to be bullet holes. 30 minutes later, they responded to a shooting in the 1300 block of Columbia Circle. Investigators say 2 homes were shot up. Fortunately, no one was hurt. But for Henry Williams, it was too late. His 3-year-old son, Messiah, was killed while in the bed during a drive-by shooting on the east side last October.
I think the main reason is the lack of police enforcement here. And when criminals know they can run rampant, why would they hesitate or think twice about shooting?
He's been pushing for harsher penalties for drive-by shootings, his efforts leading to the proposed bipartisan bill called Messiah's Law. The 4-bill package includes mandatory life without parole for killing a child.
It's to stop the kids from dying, because most drive-bys, as all of us know, the kids are usually the ones hit. They don't even hit the people they're going for, and it's just a cowardice act.
Prosecutor David Layton says his main concern is that those committing the acts aren't aware of the already harsh penalties. He suggests getting into schools earlier to guide children on a positive path. Now, as for these 2 drive-by shootings, Flint police aren't saying if they are connected. What we do know at this time is that both investigations are ongoing and no arrests have been made. For now, reporting live in downtown Flint, Bria Jones, Mid-Michigan Now.
It's been consistent over the years, and they keep telling us crime is down, and we know that we've got issues. We know that we have a gang problem, and they'll say, well, we have a gang task force. Okay, well, what you have isn't working. We need a violence interrupter plan. We need a comprehensive public safety plan. We know these kids, and we know we have a problem. So let's play one more. And look, y'all, if you can donate to Cash App JE10 Media, I wanted to get on here to share some things with you. And let's play one more because it's a consistent problem. It's consistent.
And I think that simple things like this and having officers to come to your aid should be like top of the line. This is stuff we do not have to worry about.
A woman is left shaken and upset after a road rage incident in Flint. Tony Wilson says the issue is twofold: a street with a sinking drain and police who didn't show up. A simple flash of lights turned into a nightmare for Wilson on Flint's southeast side. It was early Saturday morning when she couldn't turn down her street unless a car moved out of the way. Then things began to escalate.
It turned into like a full-fledged 25-minute road rage chase through my neighborhood. It's the craziest thing.
Crazy because Tony Wilson says all she did was flash her lights, indicating the person at the stop sign at Mohawk and Dort Highway could pull away so she could turn down her streets. A sinkhole makes it difficult for 2 cars to fit.
Sinkhole has been here since last winter.
And essentially, while the road is what started this issue, Wilson tells me that when she called police to let them know she was being chased, they couldn't send anyone.
So apparently they were all tied up off Pasadena. Something had happened over there.
For her, hearing that from dispatch was disheartening.
It did not make me feel good that any one thing could be more important when there is aid needed everywhere. there was nobody to go.
The person eventually stopped chasing her. Then she received this text from Genesee County 911.
I got a text message that basically told me if I still needed help to call back in, otherwise that was it.
Wilson says this is about feeling safe where she lives.
We're building schools and new buildings and doing all of this stuff, and it's like, what does it matter if we're not safe when we get out to enjoy these things?
This isn't the first time that Wilson has called 911 and no one has shown up.
We had quite a few shootings, not last summer, but the summer before, and it's like, we'll get somebody out there when we can. I'm like, but they're shooting right now. Like, this is actively happening. I can hear the cars running through, and they're like, oh, you know, everybody is doing something.
Now Wilson is questioning whether it's worth even making a call, only to be told no one is available.
No matter what time of day it is, I should be able to call the police. No matter what time of year these things happen, they should be addressed no matter what. And they're just not. And it does make me feel like they don't care.
Situation at Mohawk and Dort Streets. A spokesperson tells me yes, and that they plan to address the situation by the end of this week. I also reached out to the Genesee County 911 to ask, is it standard procedure to send someone needing assistance a text message like the one Wilson received? I have not yet heard back.
So remember in the flyer, can you put the flyer back up? I think they fixed that street thing about 2 weeks ago. Okay, the other side where it said, because we have to understand when they're gaslighting us. We are on the verge of transformational growth. For who? More jobs, new housing, and less crime. We cannot change leadership now. Our future is too important. You're right. Our future is too important, and we need to change leadership because we want to be alive to see our future. She was on the phone. It's over 20 minutes with a chase. She gets a call from 911. There's no one available. Our officers are constantly busy running. But he said, hey, on the other side, I hire more officers. Why? Because they keep quitting. You don't even value them. We are on the verge of transformational change. Yes, vote Tonya Burns for mayor. And then, yes, we are on the verge of transformational change. Day one. This isn't time for us to be having a learning curve. I've been consistent. I've showed up. I've even worked with Chief Green, but Chief Green couldn't make it over that huddle, that little hump, to make sure he could implement things because the mayor was telling him, you can't talk to Tonya Burns. You can't work with Tonya Burns. Him not wanting the police chief to work with me was more important than saving lives and implementing a plan that would help our city. That is wrong. We are on the verge of transformational change. We can't afford to change. We can't afford not to change at this point. We cannot afford to not change. And that's where we're at. And let me tell you, Flint, it's time for y'all to start getting mad, demanding the change, show up to the polls. You got to get mad. And one thing we know, what they just trying to break up the corruption. We see that the FBI, the DOJ, the ATF, that they're working, the prosecutors trying to hold people responsible. I know in my 2021 election that the first ward councilman had on his computer. I have the pictures. I had to turn them over to the authorities. That when it comes to these elections, what they do, I was getting phone calls, everything that they were doing, threatening me, doing all this crazy stuff. I'm not easily scared. And what you did is pissed me off because my thing is number one. It ain't like this is a well-paid job. You do it because you care. I do it because I care. I want Flint to have better days, good representation. That's why I brought in, when we had the Abdul El Sayed, when we brought him in, and I spoke with him before, I said, Flint's questions can't fit on a little post-it or a little index card. We got big problems. I said, I want you to be able to let people to ask questions, and he did. And he spoke with people. We also got Haley Steve. I've spoken to her. I remember walking into the meeting with her, and I was on the phone with my dad, and she says to me, I said, hey, Daddy. I said, I'm gonna let you go. And she's like, you on the phone with your dad? I said, yeah. She says, this is my dad. Her dad, she comes from middle class America. Her dad was a teacher in Detroit. And so here's the thing. Whoever gets elected to that seat, we got to make sure that money up there comes down here. And guess who's number one in line? Flint. I made my stands number one. I made it. I'm not changing it. I brought them to you. I wanted them, and you had the public an opportunity to talk to them. Working with the Color of Law Coalition and ladies, and we sponsored that. We did that to make sure there are things in this community. There's some great people that I've worked with. Great people, Stanley Wood, and I can go on. Debbie, Diane, Beverly Biggs. We had Taylor. We had who else is on our Color of Law? If I'm forgetting your name, charge it to my mind and not my heart. But people who care. And so when the Color of Law Coalition was created, it was because there was a need in the community. And so these are the things. You know, he told us crime is down. That card says in less crime, we can't afford change. You can't afford not to change. And we've got to vote. So if you have on your or your grandmother, your aunt, or your uncle, their absentee ballot on their table, on their nightstand, you know, they're getting it out the mailbox, ask them to fill that box in with Tonya Burns, okay? Fill that box in for Tonya Burns for mayor. It's time for a change. My responsibility, I have limited what I can do from my council seat. And I enjoy working with the public, but we deserve much better. We deserve much better, and we cannot afford to change. Crime is down. Y'all see these videos. Who is crime down for? The suburbs. They don't experience the same issues that we do. When it came to data centers, I appreciate Candace Mashat, Council Member Candace Mashat, saying, hey, with a resolution to put on a moratorium. And we voted to put a moratorium. Then I worked with Dr. Karen Weaver and then also Dr. Brandy Brown. So what we did was did an informational town hall to give you information. When you have information, you're dangerous to them. They don't want you to be smart. They don't want you to know what's going on. I have always kept the public informed. I have fought so hard to the point to where 5 of them illegally removed me from my seat. And I had to go all the way to the Michigan Supreme Court to fight. That was my money. The city didn't pay for that. They didn't pay for that. Why? Because each of you in the city of Flint was that important that you needed to believe that someone that you elected was someone that you could trust. And I didn't just say it, I did it. I also, with Councilman Eric Mays, what did I do? I fought for our community. We knew that they had that illegal ARPA committee. We had to take that to the Michigan Supreme Court. And guess what we won? They said, hey, that multi-member body where there's more than one person, the city charter tells you that if it's more than one member, then it is a multi-member body, that was an illegal committee. And they allocated millions. What did you get? And they keep gaslighting you. And so this is what I'm saying to you. What did you get from ARPA? What did you get from the water settlement? What did you get? Even the PFAS 14 billion or 14 billion, could be zero, could be 5.3 or 2 million. We haven't gotten that. We're past the deadline. So what's happening with that? We passed the deadline, which means anything we get will be smaller. Because we don't have representation. Why? Because they want to test your water. They want to test your water. So why enter into someone that want to test your water? Why? I don't trust the water. I still brush my teeth with bottled water. I do. I don't trust it. I don't. Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you something. We deserve better. We can't afford not to change. We can't. We can't afford not to change. So get mad, demand better, and vote Tonya Burns. And look, and then share it on your social media. Talk to your church member, your co-workers. Because I'm showing you, I'm not just saying to you, vote for Tonya. I've shown you for over 5 years. I'm showing you. And so let's put up some of the things. Number one, that how is this election getting dirty? And let me tell y'all this. First, we're going to laugh. Because when they're telling you I'm pillow talking, I haven't had any pillow talk with anybody because that's the first thing they do with women. They want to sexualize women and say, oh, well, they're doing pillow talk. Absolutely. And the person that they standing with, it is such a lie. It never happened. And they need to quit lying. And shame on the women who lying and saying it. Shame on them. Shame, shame, shame on them to even say that. That's the first thing that they do. And these are other women who are saying this, starting this rumor. Absolutely did not happen. And they need to stop. No, 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 no. Shame on them. Doing no pillow. I'm too tired. By the time I hit the pillow, I'm tired. You know, they want, first thing they do, they want to make you out to be something other than what you are. They are ridiculous to me. Ridiculous. I'm like, okay, you don't respond to everything, but some things you just get downright mad and you get tired. Because let me tell you what we do. Sometimes we believe the lies, and I believe some of the lies. Because the lies get so good and they become consistent. And this is why I'm talking about this. We got to stop the liars. We got to stop those who sow those seeds of division. We got to stop it. I got a call from a young lady, Marcia Shackelford, and just out the blue, she called me on Facebook. And so let's put up the MLive article because we believe that there were absentee ballots. They had a whole press conference at the desk, and she called and said, you know, hey, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. She said, I was told, she says, I apologize to Mayor Weaver. So it says Flint resident alleges voter fraud by supporters of Mayor Karen Weaver. Now, who do we have in there? Mayor Neely was State Rep Neely. Well, and this is the lady Marcia in the article. She says it didn't happen. She reached out to me. And I look, y'all know I can show y'all the little facts or whatever. And she says to me, you know, he did me wrong. I worked for him, and I worked for him with John Cole on the campaign. I worked with Johnny Cole on the campaign for Mayor Neely. You know, the one who went to prison for giving a 15-year-old boy HIV who was in this little campaign garb. Yeah, she says she worked with, and this isn't gossip. So this is the lady right here. And she says, I apologize to Mayor Weaver. So I reached out to Dr. Weaver and I said, hey, did you talk to her? She says, I did. She said that she apologized to me at Haskell Center and told me that, you know, she apologized and that she was wrong. So all this whole time they had a press conference here. And during this press conference, they stated that there was voter fraud, that there was picking up ballots and taking ballots. This was all a lie. You don't get the ballots and what they were stating. So this is what they do. And who's standing right there? The person who says we have less crime. Okay. The person who's around here, now I'm going to make y'all laugh a little more in a minute after this. This is him with her. And she apologized. And she says she was wrong. And, you know, we know that when we ask God for forgiveness, we're supposed to forgive. But you know, I think that when we talk about, we believe that there were ballots being picked up in the high rise at Father Duquette. Google the article. Google the article. You know, but she's apologized to Dr. Weaver since then. She says it didn't happen. He took advantage of this lady and he used her. They used her. So when you will do anything to stay in office, it is time to get him out of office. It's time for him to go. Again, we cannot afford not to change. This lady has come forward and said he didn't do it. That she did not, there were no absentee ballots. I spoke with her. She called me and we had a conversation. She said, you know, then she stayed, he was supposed to help her. She was staying in a motel. She had to get her life back together. She said she ended up getting put out of a motel because he quit taking her calls and he wouldn't help her. So when you can no longer use someone, then he discards them. And she felt that she was discarded. Mayor Weaver did not do those ballots, and this is why I say when people say, "Oh, well, you can't address every," yeah, you address the ones you need to, because you know why? Everybody doesn't know it's a lie, and these liars are so damn good. That's all they do. They wake up to lie, they fall asleep to lie, they lie in their dreams. Everything that roll off their tongue, everything that roll around in their head, be a lie. This did not happen. Me pillow talk absolutely didn't happen. You know, I'm like, that's the first thing they do is go and say that garbage. And I can't wait to see some of these people. Because, you know, when you do that, when you talk about and you say for other women, you know, say what I'm doing with my, with if something that's with the council or with the city, but you decide to place me in the bed with other men, and this is what you do to women, and you're lying. This is the garbage. Same thing with this lady is so upset. And look at him. This was done in October, I think October 17th, right before the election. And so people had, because it needed to really be addressed, people thought there were ballots that were given out. People didn't know. Why? Because he had sowed this seed. And I'm going to tell you something else, what he told somebody. I seduced him. I'm like, are you kidding? What does that look like? And see, these are the lies that they do. And they told it to a friend's family. And it came and told. So this is where the stuff needs to stop. If you can't win by what you do, because crime is not down, you attack a person's integrity and character. Well, I almost said it straight. That didn't happen. And I'm going to keep setting it straight because the record needs to be straight. Call Courtney Bennett back with WSM Mid-Michigan now. Answer these questions about these homicides. But what you're going to stop doing is lying on these people. We're tired of it. You keep lying on women to get what you want, to deceive the public. And we're tired of it. Care about our community. If he was doing a good job as mayor, I would stay in my council seat. But we can't keep Dan and quit. Mike Ryder's retiring. Attorney Cups. This is just in the last 5 days where people by Friday, well, Dan is gone. And I can keep naming off the list of people. And so we're tired of it. Number one, division. Let's go on to the next one. And let me tell you how they divide, because the dirty stuff that he does. Councilman Eric Mays was running. I was on the phone. Can you put the letter up? Because I'm showing you how dirty that they get. And one thing about it, you will not take my name. I'm too old to become something that I didn't do. I'm past some phases. I'm going to protect my integrity and my character. That I'm going to do. There will always be a record of me when I decide to tell the truth, or to tell the truth of what happened when you lie on me. So this letter was dated September 2022. This is when Councilman Mays rest in heaven. I was on the phone with Councilman Mays, and I don't remember if I called him. It was usually we would just talk at night because the days would be busy. And so this was during the day, and he said, "Hey, hold on, I got somebody at my door." I said, "Well, who was at your door?" He said, "I don't know, but I got on my BVDs and I'm going to go downstairs." And see, he goes down, and I'm on the phone with him. And so he cracked the door. She said, "Well, can you open the door?" He said, "No, I got on my BVDs. What you want?" "Well, I'm asking you, I'm out here campaigning for Mayor Sheldon Neely. Now, if you on Russell Street, the 100 block, you know that, or was it the 100 block that he's in? You know that there are not very many homes on that block at all." And so he says to her, "Well, no, what you want?" "Well, I'm asking you for your support for Mayor Sheldon Neely for reelection." He said, "Well, I'm running for mayor. Did you know that?" And she says, "Well, no, but we're asking you for your support." She said, "Well, I'm not going to support her. I'm running." And so the lady ended up getting off she left. He shut the door. Him and I end up, finishing the conversation. Probably an hour or 2 hours later, thank you. Thank you for blood, because I'm gonna read this. This letter is dropped off from Mayor Neely's Phil Phelps in his office, drops this letter off at Councilman Mays' house. Okay, this is how dirty they are. It says, "I am writing you as a former elected official and a member of the Democratic Party, not as a representative of the city or any candidate. When I was elected to the legislature, I came in with a questionable, if not background. When I came, it's hard to read this, y'all. Let me see if I can blow this up on my phone. But leave that big, just in case I cannot. Let's turn it around. Yeah, so look, give me a minute, because this is the actual letter. Now, picture was taken by the late Councilman Eric Mays, and y'all know he wasn't handy with any technology. But this is what they sent. They put this on here. I've never seen Mays thought that they were railroading him. And this is what Mayor Neely and his staff did. They will railroad you and lie on you. Okay, it says, I had to work to overcome the image of me that was planted by my opponents. We both know that the social atmosphere in politics is changing very quickly. And certain things, hold on, and certain things are no longer acceptable to be said or done. You are loved by your constituents. Yes, he was loved by his constituents. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me find it because this is. You are loved by your constituents, and there is no greater testament to that. Your constant, overwhelming victories in your work. Why? Because Councilman Mays had the votes. Anyone who questions that support you have from your ward would be a fool. Now, this is Phil Phelps, Mayor Neely's number 1 or 2 or 3 guy in his cabinet. Can we go on up? He said, I was informed of an interaction that took place at your door earlier today with a campaign volunteer, and you berated, and volunteer was berated by you for her support of a candidate for mayor of Flint. The candidate was Mayor Neely. Now, I'm on the phone the entire time, and we went and finished the conversation. Phil Phelps is lying in this letter. He's lying. And God put us in a place for some reason that I was on that phone for the duration. Campaign, says Mayor Flint, campaigns prepare volunteers for people who say bad things about the candidate they are supporting, and they prepare them for harsh words while at the door of a voter. However, they don't prepare them for comments of a sexual nature, like statement that uses the term BBD. It was BVDs. He said, I'm not opening the door because I got on my BVDs. He cracked the door. She wanted him to open the door. He wasn't giving her no play. Councilman Mays was reading women bedtime stories. He wasn't doing nothing else. He would tell everybody. He told his business. I'm on the phone with him. She came. He was still basically in the bed lounging around the house. I mean, he don't have to be fully dressed in the suit jacket. He's in his home. She came to his door. He was not inappropriate to her. He was not. And anybody know me, because if you are, I will check you if you're inappropriate to a woman in my presence. I will check you. BBDs, and it was BVDs, coming from a man who chooses to answer door without wearing pants. I know campaigns can get ugly, but if we all put a little effort, we can protect the people who are only loosely involved with the campaigns. I have always gotten along with you, and I don't want that to change. That's why I'm writing this letter rather than making this a public affair. This doesn't need to be bigger than what it was, because we can all work together to make sure women in Flint feel safe and everyone keeps love for the city in their hearts. Come on, y'all. Keeps love for the city in their heart. I am only asking that you show guests in your ward the hard-working and kind of side of and the kind side of your personality, the same side of what your constituents have grown to love. And he signs it. It's his signature at the bottom. Can you put his signature up to show this is real? So Mays got the letter off, and he called me. Just y'all know that was all 4-letter words, and some were combined. He told him to get the F off his porch. F you, I ain't said nothing to her. He asked the lady, where was she from? Because he didn't know her. And she told him that she was down towards, was it Novi? and that she was volunteered. Who would drop a single woman off on Russell Street by herself to campaign on Russell Street? Come on, y'all. Phil Phelps, y'all dropped a single young Black woman off on Russell Street to campaign by herself. No, y'all was trying to set the councilman up, and it didn't work. I was on the phone with him the entire time. It did not work. And these are the games that they did. This was election year. Election was coming up in November, and they were trying to sow the seed that this campaign volunteer, which he ended up seeing her later at the store where people would call at his office, where they tried to say with the news, what did Councilman Mays drink? And the man said he went and got a gallon of milk and said, milk. This is what he drinks. No, that's not what he doesn't drink. Yep, nope, it's milk. And they put the milk on the counter. This is what he would come here and drink. He'd be behind the counter. It would be milk. It was milk. And so they tried to sow this seed like he was trying to be overly sexual. It didn't happen. I was on the phone with him. This is the letter. This is Mayor Neely's administration trying to set up. It's time for them to go. It's time. We cannot afford another 4 years, his third term, to be beating our city down, to be setting up people. Councilman Mays, they were worried about because he had the most votes. And they were trying to use him to, like, we're going to hold you hostage with this. We're going to hold this over your head. But what he didn't know, he had a ram in the bush. I was on that phone with him the whole time. And I remember Mays calling back when he said it. I said, Mays, I said, calm down. I was on the phone. He was angry. I said, I was on the phone with you. And he was like, I said, you did not. I said, you didn't say anything to her. I was on the phone. This is what they do. They try to set you up. And so when people decide to talk about these things, and I told him to take a picture and he sent it to me, still in my text messages. You're not going to set me up. I'm going to defend myself. I'm going to defend my city. But this type of garbage has no place in leadership. This is the garbage type of stuff that they do, that they did. This is what they do. And the thing is, it doesn't stop with them. They were trying to call him like he was hitting on that woman. It didn't happen. It did not happen. And they'll try to set you up. And they set you up with lies. They tried to say, and what they said, we know that your ward is loved. We know that your ward, your people in First Ward support you. We know that. Me and Mays would go round and round. He had told me off. I had told him off. But I'm going to tell you what we did at the end. We was always going to fix it with each other. That's what, and if you didn't have an argument with Councilman Mays, you wasn't a real close friend to him because he would argue with everybody. My longest time, me and him stayed on the phone. It was just past 8:30 in the morning. We argued to 8:30 in the morning. But we had a respect for each other. When he didn't have his driver's license, they said he had 4 flats and he said he had 3, guess what he did? He walked down to my office and what I did, I took him home. Whenever he needed to be someplace and I was going, me or Mercedes Kenny, we would pick him up. Mays took care, and he took care of RL. We have to come together even for the least of these. And so these are the things. He would come down to my office. He'd be like, hey, you at your office? I'm going to come on down, have a glass. I'm like, you don't even drink. And he did not, because I would be working late and he would come down with my father and we would just all sit around and talk politics. And that's what we would do. We would just talk politics. And so when this type of thing happened, thank God I was on the phone. He was not inappropriate to that woman. She showed up at his house. He get to come to the door any way he wanted to, but he didn't open it up. He cracked the door. Act like he came in his birthday suit. That didn't happen. And then Phil Phelps works for Mayor Neely. It's time for them to go. Pack everything, including your pencils. It's time for a change. No administration should be setting up people, writing a letter, using your signature, using your former position, trying to assert authority to railroad someone with a sexual harassment case. This administration is corrupt to the bone, to the bone. And it's time for change. The stuff that they do, this was sickening. It was sickening. So when we look at these things, and people say, oh, I wouldn't respond. No, I'm going to respond, because you know why? I have had to. When you sit up and you got people calling you, and when they don't want you in office, you get tired of people threatening you, calling you, driving by your house, putting up everything, putting your kids' phone numbers up, putting your house up on the internet. Leon L. Alameen did that to me. Whatever his situation is now, when people are upset, hey, sometimes God works things out. Sometimes they do. And this is something when it's time for a shift, they changing things up in the Senate. God is saying do a new thing, but you got to be a participant in it. You got to go vote. This is not time for a learning curve. It's time to get the business done. I got a 100-day plan and I need your vote. We starting day one. Day one. And so when we talk about these things and when people don't see it, what they go through to try to destroy you. And my thing has always been, you didn't make me, you can't break me. And I'm going to tell you something. I pray for my enemies. I pray for my enemies. And it's been hard because some of the things, when I saw my kid's stuff on his computer, and I saw my mother's house, I saw information, my kid's phone number. I saw my house from June 2021 and May 2021. When you doing work for Mayor Neely? Come on here. And then you got people talking about some vendettas. It's not a vendetta. That has nothing to do with it. And when Kiki called me, I did not know her, but what was I supposed to do? If you call it 911 like that lady did, what does she expect? To have an officer. She wants somebody to pick up the call, to answer the concern. And to all these foolish people who mad because she reached out to me to help her. If you told me and called me and I could help you or get you to help, I've done it every single time. And they mad because when you saying I'm here for the people, I'm asking through God's divine grace to help my people, then that's what you do. But when you gonna try to tell me you mad because I'm helping somebody, how about this? She wouldn't have called me if she wasn't getting choked. She wouldn't have called me if she didn't have recordings of being beaten. She wouldn't have called me if she didn't feel hopeless. She wouldn't have called me if this wasn't a repetitive problem. She wouldn't have called me if you had been and stepped up for her. And then when she started going through things that my stuff was in there in 2002, ain't no vendetta. God is saying I'm doing a new thing. It is time for a change. It's time for a change. We can no longer sit back. And I'll put up the screen. I'm gonna put it up. 2021, and I didn't have a clue. But it was God's grace that was covering me and protecting me when he was out here sending thugs after me. Because he didn't want me to have that 6th ward seat. That it was God's grace and a praying mother that came from a praying grandmother and my praying cousins and my praying friends who prayed for me. Because he was sending thugs after me. And when I see people posting up telling me what people might, you shouldn't do, and she shouldn't have got involved. No, what you should have did if it was your daughter was step up. You should have stepped up, because there ain't no way on this earth that my daddies, and I got 2 daddies that love me, and they're equal for me. I don't have a stepfather. My daddy out here, 84, walking, knocking doors for me, knocking and talking and telling people that what I instilled in her is what we need in City Hall. That she stands on principle, that she cares about the people. He's 84 with my sister knocking doors. You knock your side, we got our side. We're going to meet in the middle, and we're going to do it for Flint. Flint, we got to come together. So when they want you to back down, cower down, we got too much to lose. They writing letters like this. And everybody in First Ward, y'all need to be talking about this letter when they tried to set up Councilman Mays. Then they started sending hate mail to him with gooey stuff in the packages. I'm like, what the hell is this? We're going to do that for the next time because I put it up before and it came from, they put a Russian address on it. Blue package that came. And so this is what they were trying to do to intimidate him. And when we talk about how important it is to them, I don't think we winning. I'm sorry, but could we be winning? Yes, because people want us to win. People think Flint is fixed. People think we don't have problems with roads. People think that everything's great, that our jobs are great, that our affordable rent is not $1,200, $1,500, or $2,000. They think everything is great. It's not. We need new leadership, and it's time for a change. Now, they're going to drag me because they didn't already start doing it, but don't y'all believe it. I done told people, look, I'm too old. I done missed a lot of phases at this point to start them now. Believe that one. You got a question, come up here. Y'all can always come. Our campaign, and it's our campaign office. It's open. You come talk. When we not out, because it was blazing hot, sit down and we're talking to people. Every Saturday is dog day Saturday. Come get a hot dog, popsicle, get some lemonade. Sit down. Let's talk about it. As Reverend Threlkel said, let's talk about it. But this is how they set up people. They set people up. They went to destroy him, tried to get him on a sexual harassment case. I mean, how dirty can you be? Thank God I was on the phone. I remember Mays just being so upset. I'm going to try to find this little packet too, where he was, they had sent to him. And I'm like, and he was like, but Tonya, I said, I'm telling you, Mays, nothing, you said nothing. But he had read that letter. And by the time he had read that letter, he was on, he was done for. He was done. They broke this man down over the years. They went down to destroy him. And me and him were talking, and I told him, I filed the report to the postmaster general, because Mays was like, well, we just gonna forget about it. And then I sent him the postmaster general's address. And I was like, you just ain't getting ready to do this, are you? And he was like, well, I'm just going, I said, Mays, you can't let this slide. I said, you can't let it slide. And he was like, let me see, is it going to let me? Because this is going to give you the date. Because they just continued to harass him. And he didn't deserve that. Whatever this little gooey stuff was, I'm going to take a picture of it because I'm going to show y'all. Because this is the stuff they do. Jonathan, I'm going to send this to you. And then when you get it, if you can put it up, please. And it gives the date. So they start sending him strange packages and the police wouldn't come pick it up. They're like, well, we don't know if that's anthrax. We don't know. And he received more than one packet. And he would not, police wouldn't pick it up. He couldn't get nobody to pick it up. I said, what did you do with it, man? And so I ended up filing the report. I know Councilwoman Winfrey Carter remembered this too, because she would talk to him too, And so this is what they sent him. Now, the mess that they went through to him, but this letter, that ticked me off. He could start getting weird stuff in the mail. Yeah. So when we talk about, and that's why, look, yes, Tonya Burns is not going to play with him. Yes, my attorneys have made sure that for my protection, they have talked to the FBI. Absolutely. Because you know why? Because what they do to these people out here, you're not going to play with me and send me packages. You're not going to do that. No, you're not. We know the stuff that they do around here. And I'm going to tell you that I pray for Leon because it's something about him too that I'm going to tell you, I don't know. I pray for him. I pray for the mayor because he's the mayor of the city. I pray for the fire chief and the police chief because right now they're in position, but it's time for them to go. It's time. And so when people don't understand that 2021, he sent people after me. Yes, Mayor Neely did. It's just dirty. It's dirty. So this is the package that Councilman Mays, they were sending to his house. And I mean, it was just messing with him, because Mays was not given, remember he did the run it, they was going after him, the games that they were doing to him. It was just crazy. And so when we talk about these elections, money is the root of all evil. If you got 10 crosses on you and you worried about money, you tell me some crime is down. You got your people coming after me and they lying and saying crazy stuff. Come on, Flint deserves better. It's time for a change. It's time. And so it's time for people to get mad. It's time for people to ask for a change. It's time to vote. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Data centers are coming. They can rescind that 12-month moratorium in November. It's time for a change. If data centers are good, if data centers are not, let's do the work first to find out. That video went viral where the lady said, well, we don't want them in our good neighborhoods. Put it in Flint, Michigan. Put it in Flint. It's a lot at stake. People who own data centers are millionaires, trillionaires, and billionaires. So let's start. So millionaires, then billionaires, then trillionaires. And we are number 148 with people living in poverty. We have the highest level of poverty, according to Wallet Hub. It's time for a change. So I hope I gave y'all something enough to think on. And there are things that, and I want to say to each and every volunteer, and there's some things that we want to cover. With these hot days where it's too cold, I think I didn't even got a tan, y'all. I've been out there. I do want to, two cute little pictures. We're going to leave with something cute because this stuff was disgusting. The letter to Councilman Mays signed by the mayor's administration. The video where Tommy Johnson is tearing off her wig and the people are going back and forth. She threatened to punch Debbie or Diane. It was Diane or Debbie in the throat. I mean, it's time for a change. How do you keep a job and you doing all of this? Help me understand that. I don't understand it. So 2 of the cutest little things. Can you put up the pictures of the 2 little kids? You can put them up. But before you put them up, look, y'all, I cannot do this without Jonathan. I need your help. If you can just Cash App Jonathan to Cash App J. Eaton Media. That money goes to him. It does not go to me. It does not go to Tonya Burns. So if you can Cash App, please kindly donate to Cash App J. Eaton Media. The things that we're putting out, because where else you gonna see this? Where else are you going to see it? Because we're putting out the truth. There's a lot at stake for this election, and they are going to pull it all out. They are. They're going to pull it all out. And that was something, my meeting with my attorneys before I said, hey, I'm going to do this. We talked about it. I ain't never thought that having an elected seat, you got to have a whole attorney firm either. I never thought that, but you do. I want to say thank you to my attorneys, Attorney Terry Johnson, Attorney Mikowski, Attorney Lambert, and I want to thank Attorney Larry Katz too. So I've dealt with some wonderful people, but I'm going to tell you, it's time for a change. It's time for a change. Flint deserves better. We can't afford not to change halfway through. Our crime is not lower. We cannot drink the water from the tap. You keep telling us lies and we're supposed to believe it. It's time for a change. Please kindly donate to Cash App, J. Eaton Media, $ J. Eaton Media. Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Can you put up either picture of the little girl? So one of the things when I'm out there door knocking, y'all, listen, I love it when we dealing with the kids. So this is Jess Lene. He said, if he is choosing Tonya Burns for mayor, then you should too. I was like, oh, now this is the guilt trip where I say for my kids, my kids, I do not have grandkids, so I love on everybody else's kids and my nieces and great nieces. That's what I do. And so these are some of the things that at the end of the day, these are the things that warm my heart. I'm doing this, I'm running because I want to make sure Flint is safe for our next generation, for our children. Thank you, Avis Hopkins. Thank you. I'm making sure that I'm doing this for our kids. It is so important. It's so important. And that I prepare not only my council seat for someone to take over, that if and when listen, we think positive when we're elected, we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna see some transformational change for the people. I'm not talking about we're gonna have uh, fundraisers in Bloomfield, Hilton, and Pontiac. It's time for a change. These are the things that warm my heart. It's the children. And not to be cliche, but the children are our future. Let's put up the other one. He is just a little adorable one. And so this is little Juju and door knock. And Juju was about to be my little grandchild. I might have stole her and took her. So she had on her, it was her birthday. She had her little beads and her bows and her socks. She was bowled out. And she reminded me of my daughter because my daughter, who was good and grown, she was like, you put me with all those bows on, And when I saw little Juju, I was like, oh, but this is what it's about. Yeah, when you're meeting and you're talking to people and you see the kids and their faces light up, I don't want to bury another child. I want us to want more for our community, demand better, demand a comprehensive public safety plan, demand a real blight plan, demand an economic development plan. Make sure we're taking care of our seniors, our most vulnerable. Make sure that we can get in some affordable housing. There are some things that we can do in the city, and we have to have like-minded people. And now is not the time for a learning curve. Your vote matters. If you had $1 left and that $1 was going to save your life, you would spend it the right way. I'm asking you to cast your vote for me, which I feel will be the right way. Cast your one vote for me. That's what I'm asking. So we're going to close out. I just love the kids. All the little beads, all the little balls. Look at her little socks, her little Bobby socks with the ruffles. So listen, again, I'm asking for your vote August 4th. Take a friend, talk to your mom, tell your pa, tell them all. It's time for a change. It is time for a change. And I need your help. I need your help. And we have to come together. And when people also have to understand too, you got to address some of this stuff because you see the letters Councilman Mays was getting. You see that the Marcia Shackelford was put up to something and she apologized later, and I pray for her. I pray for her. We pray for change because when you find people that need money and you take advantage of them, you are just wrong when you know that they need help and you take advantage for them and you have them do stuff. You're wrong. You're not supposed to take advantage of God's people. You're wrong. You're wrong. And so you all seen the facts. It's time for a change. Jonathan, I want to thank you and thank you to each and every one of you. If I did not call your name, charge it to my mind, not my heart. Look, we are at 4130 Clio Road. Come up and see us. Depending on, I don't even know what the weather going to be like. Anybody know what the weather going to be like tomorrow? Because I don't know. I do not know. So listen, look, y'all, vote Michael Clack for state rep. Write him in. Vote Michael Clack for state rep. Vote for Beverly Biggs Levy for 3rd Ward. She doesn't have I don't know what's going on with that one now with this new stuff. But one thing I do not know. That's going to be interesting. And I'm going to say as a sitting council person, it's embarrassing. And I'm going to dispel this other lie that Mayor Neela keep telling people that I don't live where I live. I need him to quit telling that lie because right next door to me, yeah, I live there. I've been living there. I don't know who else would be living there. He need to just quit lying. He needs to stop the lies. He needs to stop. It's time for a change. And it's funny because and it's not funny, it's sad because residents actually come back to me with the lies and ask me. They actually come back to ask. And that's sad because that's just insane to me. It's insane. So listen, I hope you can take something from this tonight. And I enjoyed my time with y'all as always. And until the next time, because we got some stuff to talk about, I am requesting some information. I pray for this entire situation. I pray for the first ward because I'm gonna tell you something. I have never taken so many calls from the first ward. The type of representation that they receive at Councilman Mays, who was Johnny on the spot, he was mowing grass, was what they should still be getting. It's not the same. It's not the same. And that's something that I will say, even what Chief Green would say, even though me and Mays may argue, me and Mays will talk and we work it out. And they would have a gentleman's agreement. And that's just the truth. Flint has not had the same type of representation, and we deserve it. For about $100 a day? $100 a day? They could have treated the water, and people were quiet. So they want you to stay quiet. They want you to stay in poverty. They want you to stay broken down, downtrodden, because it allows them to feel better and creates a hierarchy system. They want you to stay down. They want you to be quiet and to not say nothing. No, it's time that we speak out and that we come together. I might not be for everybody. You may not like 75% of what I stand for. But come have a conversation with me. Come on down to 4130, tomorrow throughout the day and have a conversation with me. And this is the thing, because some people don't even, or hell, everybody got my phone number. We know they had it with the death threats I was getting in 2021 and own up. And the one guy, he just said, hey, I'm going to quit. The one that would call me and I would be online, he just stopped. He called and apologized. He said, I got to apologize to you. I was wrong. Man, I was shooting him Bible scriptures. He got a few told off the first time. And my mother said, hey, you pray for him and send them Bible scriptures. So I started sending him Bible scriptures, and I would play my playlist of gospel songs, and I wore him down after maybe 2 months. And he was like, look, don't hang up on me, Tonya. I said, okay, you lucky, because it was late at night, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then he would call afterwards because someone had him doing that. Someone told him, when someone asks you to do something stupid, don't do it. Don't do it. They had him calling me, and he called and said, hey, I was wrong. You not like that. And then he would, he was like, can you unblock? And I'm like, no, you was just cutting up. We can't do all that now. But the part is that even when someone was calling me and I opened my heart up for change. And when you ask forgiveness, God forgives us, we have to forgive some people. And we got to go through some transformational change in this city. And I'm asking for your vote. So look, it's us, Flint. Show up at them polls. They out here telling people that he only needs 20%. Let's get as close to 50% or 100% as we can. Show up to them polls and vote like your life depends on it. Because we know that crime not down. Police Chief Terrence Green said it wasn't. So why is that on your mailer? Help me out with that. Listen, y'all have a blessed evening. Jonathan, look, I love y'all. If I didn't say your name in church, it might not my heart. Be blessed. Pray for our city. Vote Tonya Burns for mayor. Vote Tonya Burns. Thank you, Lady Brick. And thank you to producer Jay, Jonathan. I can't see who was in the comments, y'all, because I don't have it on my what's the thing. I got to work that out. Thank you to my moderator, Sheena Beckton. Thank you to Patrick Jean. Thank you to Jonathan, because without him, I could not do this at all. So look, y'all have an amazing night. Stay blessed. Let's play that last commercial and our music out. Love y'all, and I'm out.
First of all, thank you for everyone who was here, because this means a lot and it's hot. And this is not for me. This is for us. This is a we. I never say that I'm running. I say we're running. We're running because we want to make Flint better. It's not about me. It's about us. We have to start talking to our children. My first call came in at 12:10 a.m. 4 people were shot last night. The bullet casings ran 4 blocks down. We need a comprehensive public safety plan because we keep burying our children, and it's not okay. It's not okay.
It's the Tonya Burns Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that vibe. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up. We're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tonya Burns won't stand down in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step